My name is Danielle Beach Oswald. We're here today to talk about how you can protect your rights. We'll have a new president, President Trump, and there's many immigrant rights groups and many clients who are very concerned. They say, well, what's going to happen to DACA or Dreamers? What's going to happen to people who are Muslim? What's going to happen to people who have been waiting in the court system and maybe have a misdemeanor? What's going to happen to all these people? Well, the first thing is you need to know that ICE is arresting people, and there are ways to recognize an ICE agent. Usually they have a jacket on that says ICE on it, and they are very easily recognizable. Otherwise, they look like police. If you're a permanent resident, can you still be at risk because you're legally here? You're legally entitled to live in this country. And maybe you only had a conviction 20 years ago. This can be a problem. When does it become a problem? If you leave the country and you travel, when you come back, that's usually when you're put in deferred inspection, secondary inspection. That is a problem. So if you have a conviction, talk to a lawyer before you travel. When else can it happen? Well, even if you didn't serve any time in jail, not even one day, and even if it was a misdemeanor, it could be a problem. If you are undocumented and you have some minor infractions such as suspended driver's license or other convictions such as DUI or drugs or some kind of domestic violence issue or gun possession or involvement with a minor, child endangerment, or if you came in after January 2nd, 2014, or if you've been ordered deported since January 1st, 2014. All these are areas which immigration pays particular attention to. So, how do you determine what you should do? Well, the first thing to do is you need to talk to a lawyer if you have any of these issues. And if you have family members who are U.S. citizens and you've been waiting to do something about your immigration status, you still need to talk to a lawyer. Now, there are certain places that are more dangerous than others. So, for example, if you are going to courthouses recently in Montgomery County, we've had reports that there are ICE officers outside the courthouse waiting for when someone has a conviction or is charged with something. So that could be a place. Train stations, airports, all these areas tend to be areas where ICE will often come. When do they come? Typically, they come very early in the morning. Often they come during holidays. So when you least suspect it. So it could be Thanksgiving or Christmas or New Year's Eve. So they can come at many different times. They can even come to your work location. How do they know that you have this problem? Supposing you were arrested 20 years ago and you had some minor misdemeanor or you had a DUI, how do they know? Well, they know because you're on record. If you filed an application such as a naturalization application, or you have a green card, or you have a work authority, or you've ever been arrested and you've had your fingerprints taken, or you're on probation or parole, or you've even applied for a driver's license. So these are all ways that they will know. So that doesn't mean that you shouldn't do these things. You should still do these things. And we already mentioned some of the places where they're arresting you, and they're even pulling people over in traffic accidents and sometimes even in homeless shelters. So all these are areas where you should be aware. So what should you do? What are your rights? What can you do to protect yourself from these situations? Well, first of all, you need to ask if they have a warrant. When they come to your home, ask them to see the warrant. Don't necessarily let them inside your house if they don't have a warrant. When they come early in the morning, you may be confused, and they may be pretending that they have something that they need to ask you about, and they need your help, or they just need to see your documents, or just let them in. They may intimidate or knock loudly, or they may even try to push through the door or show weapons. That does not mean that you should do anything dramatic. Stay calm. Be polite. Do not lie. Ask to see the warrant. If they don't have a warrant, say, "You cannot enter. I do not wish you to be here. Please show me your warrant." I do not want to answer any questions. Ask for their card. Get their information card. Then talk to a lawyer. If they don't have a search or an arrest warrant, you can ask them to leave. You don't have to let them into your house. They cannot search through your belongings. If they do come in and push themselves in and they say they have to look through your belongings, say, I do not consent. Do not give them the passport or the consular documents that you have. Don't give them anything unless they have a warrant. Don't give them false documents. Don't give them fake security cards, social security cards. Don't give them any documents that are false, and never resist arrest, because if you resist arrest, you may have a problem. What if you have children or elderly people there? You need to tell them. Or if you're pregnant or you're nursing or you have medications or you have special medical issues, you need to tell them this. You need to say, I have children who are at home that there is no one else to take care of. You need to let them know these things. Or I have a medical problem and I take medications. If you don't tell them, they may not ask. Remain silent and ask to speak to your lawyer. You don't have to share information. You don't have to sign information. It is always best to try to have a lawyer present with you. Ask them for their card. Ask them for their names. If they say certain things to you, record what they said to you after they leave. Write it down so you have a record that they forced or they created duress or they pressurized you into doing things that you didn't want to do. Write their badge numbers. Write the agents' names. Ask for a copy of the warrant. Ask to be able to get your clothes or your medications or your personal items. Be sure that you keep a record of whatever they said, how they acted, and who was present during the arrest. And if you have witnesses, write their names down also. So these are all things that you can do to protect yourself. And we have a card that we will give you that you can carry around with you in your wallet that will have some of these things down. The questions also that are asked are, what is Trump going to do with our immigration laws? Is he just going to roll back the carpet and change everything? No, that's not going to happen. There are laws in place. There are procedures in place. These have been in existence for many years. Certain things will probably change. And in another webinar, we're going to talk about what are some of those things that may change. At this time, it's still too early to tell for sure what will change, but we know that there will be some changes. Thank you for listening to our presentation today, and we hope that if you have any questions, you will contact your lawyer or contact us. Thank you very much.